Okay, I'm looking at Revelation chapter 22, verses 14 and 15. Should I read them?
Sure.
Okay, blessed are those who do commandments, that they may have the right to the tree of life and may enter through the gates into the city. But outside are dogs, sorcerers, sexually immoral, murderers, idolaters, whoever loves the practice of life. I didn't realize that these would be included in heaven.
Well, they're not in heaven. The context here is they are outside of the New Jerusalem. They're outside. They're not actually in heaven. And that's why it says, "For without are dogs and sorcerers," and so on and so forth. So the whole chapter is real important to read here, because it opens up talking about the pure river of water of life. That's going to be in the New Jerusalem. In the midst of the street, talk about the tree of life, all the manner of fruits that are going to be there. So it's describing the New Jerusalem. And so outside, now the allusion here, in Old Testament days, well, New Testament times as well, a city was surrounded by a wall, as we all know. And it was very, very common for wild dogs and wild animals to be outside those walls wanting to get in, but they were not able to get in because the gates were shut. The idea here is that in the New Jerusalem, where everything is pure, everything is unsullied, he names the various types of sins and sinners that won't be allowed in there. He's letting us know that the New Jerusalem is going to be completely sinless, pure, pristine, brand new, and that outside, just like the cities of old, where the wild dogs, the hyenas, the lions, and the robbers and thieves, and all of those that were kept outside of a city each and every night by the closing of the gates, that New Jerusalem is going to be protected, sealed, and safe from anything unclean entering it. Scott, your thoughts?
Yeah, that's great, Jeff. That's exactly what it's talking about. These people are not in the New Jerusalem. They're not on the new earth. And it's interesting because that word there in the Greek is the word exo, which means out. And the King James Version translates it "for without are dogs." And so I like that version, how that puts that, because it's telling you that that city or the new earth there is going to be without these people, without the dogs. And it's interesting because dogs there is a word that describes people who are morally impure. In fact, in the Old Testament, in the book of Deuteronomy, a dog spoke of a male prostitute in a temple, and that the Israelites were had to have nothing to do with them. And so it speaks about someone who is morally impure, and they are right along there, as you notice, with the sorcerers and the sexually immoral and all of that. But it's actually without. I think it's a good translation, because it's basically saying the heaven's going to be without them. So, Jeff,
Doug, does that help?
You bet. Yes. I'm looking at also Matthew 7:6, the dogs and the swine and the pearls.
Yeah. Yeah.
That one seems to reflect actual dogs rather than people.
Yeah. I think it may be an allusion to people that are really living in sin. I don't think it's literal canines. I think it's an illusion, because dogs were considered lowly. They were considered unclean. Now, I'm a dog lover. I would not have done well in Old Testament, New Testament times, because I'm a dog lover. I've got 4 of them at my house. But in Bible times, they were considered unclean. They were not animals that you loved, that you doted on, that you purchased and took to your own, and all of that. They were generally wild and not treated so great. So I think that's an allusion to sinners, as are the pigs. And when Jesus said, "Don't cast your pearls before swine, he's not talking about literal swine. He's talking about people who don't respect nor care for your message, the message of the gospel. So same thing. So anyway, Doug, I hope that helps. And you be blessed in Elko. I'm going to tell my wife that I got a call from Elko, because you don't get many calls from Elko. So thanks for calling, Doug.